Those of you who are sales leaders, I hope that this will inspire you with some of the things that we're seeing in terms of what your reps are going to need to be thinking about in the year ahead and things that you can help them with some back end training, perhaps new technologies, and so on. But for those of you who are sellers yourselves, I encourage you to think about ways in which you can start to put some of these ideas into action and maybe not even have to wait for the rest of your sales team to figure these things out. There's a lot of great stuff here that you can start doing immediately to level up your own sales game. And then, of course, throughout the rest of the day, you're going to get to deep dive into some of these different topics and find really actionable insights. So please keep going in the chat. Let me know how things are going. Drop questions into the Q&A as we are moving forward here. But I'm going to dive right into a really important statement that I think sets the stage for a lot of what we want to talk about here. And that is that we are, folks, all of us, in the midst of not just a little change in the world. It's not just a step function difference. It really is a seismic shift in how buyers are buying and sellers are selling. There are a lot of new ways in which we're selling. Well, today, many of us have matched our buyers in becoming digital first in how we sell. And I think there is a shift afoot where we need to be ready to be digital only. Doesn't mean we're not going to get together with people, but we need to be ready to create a buying experience for our customers that does not require a live phone call, an in-person meeting, even a live Zoom call. Right? Hopefully, you're always going to be able to do that. But if you can think in that manner and say, if I'm prepared to create a buying experience that is 100% asynchronous, that is 100% digital, that matches that one buyer, which will soon be 10 buyers and 100 buyers, who doesn't ever want to get on a live call. Well, now you're ahead of the game, right? And you can get ahead of those other sales reps because you're the one now spoon feeding your prospect information and being omnipresent asynchronously, where they're still waiting a week to get on a Zoom call with that other vendor, right? Some really neat things you can do. Tech enabled. This again goes without saying in today's world. We need to be tech enabled sellers. It doesn't just mean as a sales rep out there, if you're an individual sales rep and you're waiting for your boss, your ops team, your sales enablement team to give you the next tool to help you be better, don't. So let's start with a talk about our buyers. This stuff is probably second nature to most of you out there now. And Kim did a wonderful job touching on some of the key trends that are validating, some of the stats that are validating these points. But I think we've all felt it and we've known it for a while now. And it's partly because these are the ways that most of us actually behave as consumers and buyers as well. Whether we're doing a consumer purchase, whether we're doing a $10,000 business purchase, or whether we're investing in $1 million software platform to run our companies. More and more in today's world, buyers are not just digital savvy, they're digital first, right? And we know that, but we really have to embrace that. Now, there may be some exceptions, I will admit. There may be some markets, there may be some individuals you're talking to who aren't the digital first buyer quite yet. But that is turning over very, very quickly. And I am afraid to have to sell to my kids someday because, wow, are they different in terms of how they interact than everything. I'm going to have to make them TikTok videos for the love to be able to explain what it is I do, right? It's changing. It really is. And digital first is even different from what digital first was 5 years ago. Right? Digital first is this very native sense of knowing I have infinite access to all the information I need at my fingertips. If I don't believe something a sales rep tells me, I could probably find out whether it's true or not in a few minutes online. I could search for that. I could look at reviews. I could probably find somebody in my social community who's used that product and can tell me what the real deal is. Right? These are all things that are shaping the way buyers behave now. So let's put these ideas together. And let's trickle down, what does this mean for tomorrow's sales reps? So the buyer and the seller, not surprisingly, these evolutions are aligning, right? The digital first buyer is being matched by the digital first and digital only capable sales rep. An increasingly distributed team with all these other nuances is driving more and more tech enablement for our sales reps so they can manage deal cycles in different ways. They can connect with prospects in different ways. A preference for self-service buyers means we as sales reps are becoming better content curators to give them that content, but we're also starting to become more and more creators ourselves. And finally, an expectation of buyer centricity is matching the need for us to not only be buyer centric, but to know them so well that we can hyper personalize, that we can be their trusted source of information. So what new skills and capabilities does this require for sellers going forward to get to that digital only, tech powered creator, trusted advisor kind of spectrum? Well, it requires a lot of the skills we have today, right? Most of the solid skills we have as sellers are going to continue on going forward, but there's a few new ones that I want to highlight here. The first one goes back to really getting behind the notion of tech. And it is developing a high technology quotient, or TQ, which is, again, something that they talk about in Tech Powered Sales. It's a really cool book. I have no vested interest in it, just an interesting book. And I think we have to develop a high TQ and be more and more adept at using technologies as we go forward. That is something that is new for a lot of us, not just waiting for the tech to be given to us, but being curious, finding new things, trying new things, optimizing how we use the tech, and not just sitting back as a receiver of it. The second thing, not surprisingly, becoming video experts, right? You didn't see the word video pop up above, but video is a part of all of these now, right? We all know how to write emails. We all know how to put social, posts out there, but video is something that most of us are very early on in our journey, and we need to figure out and lean into, because it's going to be a big part of this. As we go to digital only, video becomes our only way of putting ourselves out there, of letting our customers get to know us, right? As we move more and more to asynchronous selling and more self-service, it's not just live calls, it's videos we create and send to them. It's videos we produce and share with them. That's going to be more and more important. And finally, asynchronous selling. This notion that as buyers less and less want to get on a call and more want you to serve them with the right information at the right time, we need to figure that out. And we need to reduce our dependencies on live meetings and live calls and maximize the opportunity for all of those moments where we can be sharing, we can be chatting, we can be creating and posting and interacting with our clients in an asynchronous manner. And there's all those skills we've developed that are still going to be important. But these are new ones I encourage you to start thinking seriously about and leaning into. And throughout the rest of the day here, the areas that we're going to focus on, for those of you joining us on the journey, or perhaps if you're watching this on demand, want to dive into some of the other sessions, these are the ones we're going to focus most on here at Fast Forward. Going deep on developing video expertise, right from how do I create and share videos through my sales cycle to how do I actually do lightweight video production? How do we get into and leverage these digital engagement communities? How do we bolster our sound in a world where, again, everybody's getting bombarded with messaging? And how do we create asynchronous selling experiences that really lean into short videos that we can record and share with our customers to continuously educate them?